Episode 11, Bigfoot. This one's a fun one, but since we got Halloween closing in once again, I want to start delving into some fun conspiracy theories and some of the interesting stuff that I've been kicking back and forth. Bigfoot, one of the cryptids. It's one of the most well known cryptids. It's sort of a lore monster that has been speculated about for quite some time, probably the most infamous. It's easy to assume that the possibility is there because there's no way to really disprove it unless you were able to showcase every inch of the United States at one given time and say, here's everything that exists. So it's hard to disprove something, once again, that isn't there. So there's no evidence to disprove it because you can't really find evidence to disprove something if it doesn't exist. Couldn't find a not Bigfoot. That doesn't make sense. Anyways, one thing that always cracks me up is when you see these special shows on TV, they interview people that are like Bigfoot specialists. And it's like, yeah, they got a 15-year degree in Bigfoot? How do you study something that isn't there? It's like, yeah, they've been chasing what isn't there for years. They're a specialist, an expert, Bigfoot. And they'll interview these guys. And it's funny that, like, they have entire what would you even describe this as? They have entire like files on this character. It's all speculative and they build on it. And then other experts look at what they said and they build on those speculations. Pretty soon they have this weird like esoteric narrative, like this ethereal floating idea that the Bigfoots must like congregate together in packs. Then they secretly travel and they migrate. And then they plan out these routes and they're showing a map of the US and they're like, we're thinking the Bigfoots are migrating up here. And I'm like, what? Like, this is still something that doesn't exist, that we've never proven to be a thing. And now we're arguing about the migratory patterns of something that doesn't exist. And then they're like arguing about different route plans. And I'm like, how are we like, it's so weird. You have a speculation within a speculation. Like Inception, it just gets so deep. You're like, what are we even arguing about? Arguing about like what food ghosts like. There's nothing there to argue. And now we're making these speculations that ghosts have to eat food, and then we're arguing about what foods they like based on nothing. The entire, would you say, the entire lore is just built on emptiness, built on speculation of speculation. It's kind of fun. I guess, like, you would think any animal that exists, it's possible to have a migratory route, migratory pattern. So it makes sense that if there were such thing as this Bigfoot creature, maybe they would migrate. But again, it doesn't make any. One of the biggest points that I go to shut this argument down is Native Americans. Native Americans, we are certain existed in those same areas that we're thinking maybe Bigfoot exists. And they're showing these West Coast mountain ranges, and they're like, yeah, maybe the Bigfoots are hiding. Like, you know what did happen? There were Native Americans, and they were hiding, and we went through and pushed them out of their land, took everything. We surveyed all the land, we divvied it up, and completely, would you say, desecrated the entire nation of its people. So we know for a fact there was something there that is no longer there. And there's nobody just randomly running into a tribe of Native Americans out in the woods that no one's ever discovered. Oh, wow, we didn't know they had a whole civilization in here that was just waiting in the woods. So to think that maybe a Bigfoot colony would be doing the same thing, these massive, gigantic half ape people, doesn't make any sense. We would have found them by now. It's not like anybody was able to hide. So to me, that dismisses the idea of any type of Bigfoot colony having a migratory route from California to Alaska, just living in the woods, mysteriously unseen for centuries. Doesn't make any sense. And plus, there'd be Native American lore. I mean, these guys were here way, way long before us. There would be, I don't know, there'd be a whole lot more. It's like if you see information or drawings for like a deer or something, you're like, well, yeah, we got deer everywhere, all kinds of things. There were these massive creatures that were the size that the Bigfoot speculators show. They'd be able to, like, I don't know, take down a bear probably. So they'd be hunting. So we'd be finding all kinds of stuff. There'd be tools, there'd be all sorts of things. And it's always hilarious that you get these like old retired guys with like a shotgun and a ghillie suit. They're out in the woods, like in the middle of the night with night vision goggles. Yeah, we're gonna go hunting after Bigfoot and see if we can find it. And they'll get a party of these guys together. So there's like 40 old guys with shotguns in the woods in the middle of the night with night vision goggles, fumbling around. They can't see anything. They're wearing ghillie suits. They're all like these, big dudes wearing leaves basically. And then there'll be a guy on like one of the TV specials where he sees something way off in the distance. It's like, you ever think maybe that's your other friend that's out there in a ghillie suit, just fumbling around in the dark? Went to take a leak, couldn't find where he put stuff. Like if you ever see a Bigfoot in a ghillie suit with a shotgun, maybe it's not Bigfoot. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's one of your other speculators out there. It's hilarious to me. Just the idea of this, big 6'7" guy, 300 pounds with a shotgun, and somebody else seeing him at a distance, like, oh my gosh, it's Bigfoot. And then radioing some guy, like, it's there. There was a SpongeBob episode of that. He's like, he's right there under the streetlight. And he's like, I'm under the streetlight. Ah. Same concept. It's like, what if they're actually just seeing each other? I heard something. It's like, yeah, that was Jeff again. That was your guy behind you trying to figure out where you're at. Text him. He's like, I think I hear something. Like, yeah, it's you guys. Same guys. Anyways, that's a comical thought. But back to the narrative. It is hilarious that they interview these people and they're like Bigfoot specialists. And I'm like, how are you specializing? Like you read other people's reports, then you report what you think about other people's reports, and then those people come and review your review of their reports. Like, where is this going? And so to just simply look at it objectively and say, well, what if none of this is real? It makes this look really, really dumb. You're like, this guy's interviewing this guy about what this other guy wrote about what this guy speculated, and none of it has any grounding. It's all just like make believe, and it's just the most amazing thing about it. What makes humans so special. We can just come up with weird fantasy ideas and then build on it, which is kind of how we get like some of the cool fantasy stuff. I mean, look at Dungeons and Dragons, and look at some of these games that we have nowadays. It was built on the idea of some wild concept where we're like, what if dragons? Cool. And then someone else is like, well, they would have to be really intense. Maybe they could breathe fire. And then someone else is like, well, the fire would have to mix like this. And pretty soon we have lore about the different acidic compounds that a dragon has to have inside of it. Not even a real thing, but we're developing lore and scientific basis for what would have to happen with this imaginary thing that doesn't exist. That's pretty cool. The fact that we can have debates about how something that doesn't exist would have to operate. I guess we're trying to give a realism, right? We're trying to breathe life into this thing that doesn't exist and say, well, how could it exist? Is there a way that we could kind of fit it into what we know? Is there a way that we can mold this into an acceptable being? Pretty cool. Funny, but pretty cool. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to go on a quick rant about Bigfoot. There's some other cryptids out there. Trying to think what other good ones. Mothman's pretty solid. Might dig into that one of these days. Guess I'll share a quick story because we still got some time. I ran into my own cryptid. It was in upper Wisconsin, and I was actually planning to go stargazing. And I found this area, I think it was west of Montello. No, no, Montello is southwest of where I'm thinking. It was west of Princeton, little town up there, towards Portage, I guess, kind of in the center of upper Wisconsin, somewhere there. And anyways, I was up there looking for a nice, calm, empty spot to look at the sky. Thought, oh, this is great. There's no lights anywhere. It's super dark. It was a good temperature out, a little chilly, but good. And was out there getting on the roof of my, not the roof of my car, but the hood of my car. And I was laying back on the windshield, looking up at the sky. And I was like, oh, this is great. I didn't have any action on me. I didn't have a knife or a gun or anything. I'm just up there in the middle of nowhere. I heard what I thought was a sawing noise. And it sounded like if you had like one of those hand saws and you were just going back and forth. And it was kind of this weird, almost like a grinding, but like wood grinding noise. And as it got louder and louder, I started to realize that kind of sounds like a bunch of dogs. And it was almost like a pack of wolves, like breathing really hard. And it was just getting louder and louder and louder. And I'm like by cornfields. I was like, if there's wolves out here, like I have no idea where to go or what to do. I was like, this is just so random. I was like, I suppose it could be a pack of wolves. So I was like, I better get in the car. So I like immediately get in the car and I just like wait. I'm like getting ready to start the car. And I was like, I'm kind of curious a little bit. And I cracked the window just a bit and I can hear it. Don't know where it's coming from or what it is. And I didn't see anything, just cornfields and just wind. And it just sounded like this really intense, like a pack of wolves breathing. And I was like, what is going on? Like I'm in the middle of nowhere, no idea what that noise is. I couldn't tell what direction it was coming from, especially being in the car because you have the window cracked, just like loud enough to hear that it's nearby, but I couldn't see anything. Headlights on, couldn't see anything. I was like, I'm getting out of here. This is too weird. But I never had an explanation for that. I guess it's possible that it could have been a pack of wolves or something, but I'm like, it was just so random. Maybe hyenas or not hyenas. Oh, freaking coyotes. That's what I'm trying to think of. And but yeah, it was alarming. I was like, didn't have any explanation. We're in the middle of nowhere, and it just came up completely out of the night, and I don't know what it was. So, my little cryptid story for you guys. But yeah, Halloween's getting closer. If you guys have any other concepts you want me to try to do a little quick podcast on, let me know. Or if you have any cool experiences you've had, throw that in the comment section. I'd love to read them. All right, till next time.